Imagine, there she is, marching up with the Irish Citizens' Army armed with her weapon revolver and her typewriter. Connolly's secretary.
I know who she was.
It's about when she was a member of the Belfast branch of the Common Imam, the documents.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there was a lot of military fervour in the air. And the Belfast Common were organised in a very military way. We had open air rifle practice on Sundays in the city. And sometimes when we wanted more long-range shooting, we went up the Divis Mountains. We even challenged some of the men volunteers to a competition. And Winnie Carney won one of them.
She was just a secretary, and I don't want to focus too much on her for my book. It's the women who are leaders and fighters that I want to write about.
Are you saying I wasn't a fighter? I'll have you know that if I had any resistance at the GPO, they'd have gone to the head of my typewriter. If that didn't work, I'd have used my revolver. And I was right there at the end with the injured James Connolly in Moore Street. And the week leading up to the rising, I was dug in Liberty Hall, typing dispatches and mobilisation orders, so it was.
She wasn't the only woman there. There were others there too, like Elizabeth O'Farrell, for example, and we'll have a lot to say about her in a while.
And let's not forget Margaret Skinner, Rosie Hackett, Molly Reynolds.
One thing at a time, Dorothy. It's just so many details. I have to put them in their proper perspective. And it's how to order them. Oh, God.
Common Imam. Bit about it then. Just start there.
The manifesto. The manifesto of Common Imam, the Irish Women's Council.
The women's section of the volunteer movement.
At this time of national crisis, we wish to make clear to our countrywomen the principles for which we stand.
Hear, hear.
We are the women's section of the Irish Volunteers, and we have been working side by side with them from the beginning. We are the only women's organisation belonging to the Irish Volunteers, and our activities and aims are solely national. At this present juncture, we are concerned that the food of Ireland be preserved for the people of Ireland, and so prevent a repeat of the Black Famine of 47. We confidently depend on our volunteers, both men and women, to help us in this vital work. We call on all Irish women to realize that our national needs and our national honour should be placed before all other considerations, to join our ranks and to give us all the assistance in their power. God bless Ireland! The Provisional Committee, Common Imam, 206 Great Brunswick Street, Dublin, August 8, 1914.
And when the time came, they joined the ranks of the Irish Citizens' Army and the other garrisons who took part in the rising.
Now, dress suitably in short skirts and strong boots. Leave your jewels in the bank and buy a revolver. And that's my advice to any woman who wants to be involved.
And bring enough rations for 24 hours.
But the Countess did go out in her uniform, though the other women, when they were allowed in the garrisons, were to be used as dispatchers, so they needed to look like civilians. But Dorothy, what I want to know is, why wasn't the Countess a leader of the brigade? Why did she have to be second in command? Could they not have put a woman in charge of one of them? I hate always referring to her as
Mara, it wasn't like that. After delivering medical supplies with Dr. Lynn by motor car to City Hall, didn't she report to Commandant Mallon at Stephen's Green? And as he was short of men, he ordered her to stay and put her in charge of trench digging.
all right, men and women, we are to hold Stephen's Green. We need to dig in, dig trenches, and be ready for anything. Sir, you're going to have to leave the Green. We have business here.
Are you taking the ducks prisoner, are you?
No! How would you like me to do that? Fly there like a duck?
Where next? Dublin Castle. Sean Connolly led a citizens' army group up Dame Street. There were 16 men and 9 women, and in that group there were 3 of his brothers and 1 of his sisters, and Mrs. Barrett.
An unarmed policeman on duty, Constable James O'Brien, tried to shut the gate in front of him, but Sean Connolly shot him point blank. Now, Sean Connolly was an Abbey actor in real life, but this was not acting. This was real. The first casualty of the rising tide was to be James O'Brien.
As Sean Connolly was patrolling the roof of the castle of City Hall, wasn't he shot from inside the castle, and didn't he die in Alina Maloney's lap?
For now, it was real, too real for Helena Maloney. Orphaned at an early age, it was hearing Maud Gonne speak in the Customs House in 1903 that awoke her.
She electrified me and filled me with some of her passion, but it was the cultural revival that she spoke about that inspired me, and after I joined Ineen and Aherden, the Daughters of Ireland, a group set up to better fight for the rights of women in Ireland.
Now, Ineen and Aherden was a group set up by Maud Gonne, Kathleen Lynn, among others, at a meeting of 15 women at the Celtic Literary Society in Dublin, Easter Sunday, 1900.
And after, I set up Banna Herden magazine, and we advocated militancy, separatism, and feminism. Constance Margaret's came to nationalism through our newspaper, and I was drawn to the labour movement through the lockout, and to James Connolly in particular. I spent weeks leading up to the rising at Liberty Hall. I even slept with bundles of the proclamation under my pillow. And then we marched up to the castle. Meanwhile, back at the GPO, Willie Carney is setting up for a typewriter and is typing the first dispatches.
Wait a second. The GPO has been taken. No casualties, some resistance, prisoners taken, Pierce getting ready to deliver the proclamation. Right, that's the GPO. Now, at the other locations,
We have Countess Margaret at Stephen's Green.
and we've got Margaret Skinner there as well.
Spent time in the Dublin mountains tasting dynamite with the Madeline Grange Mullen here, also at the Green. Addressed as a boy, so I could be a message along. I was a sniper at the College of Surgeons when we were treated to there. I was shot
We'll get to Margaret Skinner and all of that in a while, but for now, at Boland's Mill. At Four Courts. At the Mendicity Institute. At Jacob's Factory. At Dublin Castle. And let's not forget Liberty Hall. All right. The element of surprise. Joseph Mary Plunkett's plan for the taking of key strategic buildings worked.
Nation once again, and nation once again, and Ireland long above the sea, and nation once again, and nation once again, and nation once again, and Ireland long above the sea, and nation once again.
Right. First, Marrowbone Lane. Eamon Cant heads the 4th Battalion at Marrowbone Lane. The women's headquarters was at the distillery where they guarded the rear of the South Dublin Union. 21 women were there, with Rose McNamara in command, Marcella Cosgrave second in command as quartermaster,
Anne Lilly and Eileen Cooney, Scylla and Maria Quigley, May and Winnie O'Byrne, Emily and Josie O'Keefe, Sissy and Margaret.
Oh, now we're getting places. Next!
Bowen's Mill, or James
before taking over Jacob's factory at Bishop Street. Now, they refused entry to Maureen Equivalent, who was an Abbey actress, but she was having none of it.
Sorry, it's too dangerous. Only men allowed.
I'm here, and I'm not on my own. There's 5 more of us. Sarah Keys here, Kathleen Lane, the Pollard sisters, Annie McQuaid.
Dorothy, is that the best you can do? Let's show them the fighting spirit they must have had put it again.
Sorry, it's too dangerous. Only men allowed.
What do you mean we can't come in? You think it's only the men that can do the fighting? You think you can free Ireland without its women? You can do it all on your own. You'll be screaming for your nannies before the day is out.
All right. That was great. It was a bit scary, but really good. Okay, next.
Bonesville, 3rd Battalion under Edmund de Valera. He refused to allow women to participate.
And why was that?
You're untrained for soldiering.
Well, let me tell you, Mr. De Valera, you are a fool, and you'll be proved wrong throughout this week. We have tales to tell of the bravery of women. Next.
Forecourts. Ned Daly headed up this garrison. He only allowed women to participate when a directive was sent.
And why is that?
Why was that, Mr. Daly?
We don't want our women getting killed in us. We have enough of the men to do the fighting for us.
Well, I'll have you know I'm a medical student, and what happens if someone gets shot and they need tending to?
What's your name?
Bridget Lyons.
I'm from Cork, I know.
Oh, Lamford.
There you have a point. But you still need a directive on it.
Will the British bullets be coming your way? Directive or no directive?
The Lancers are coming.
The GPO about to come under attack from British Lancers coming down Sackville Street from the Great Britain Street end.
They're passing Nelson's Pillar and down they go!
And now we dig in.
What you, Countess? There's snipers on top of the Hotel Shelbourne. Oh, you got one of them!
Did I? Well, let's sing a song.
Citizens' armies out today, and if you wonder why, go ask the lords of the banking house with their cash returns behind. It isn't the bosses who bear the brunt, and it isn't you and I, but the women and the kids whose tears were fed as the strikers went marching by. The docker knows 200 tons his master's ship loaded, and at the docker's door the bends a weary limbs to pray. And the old North was a liberty hall and a deadline of its skill, and the heat and the all and the dust was all and they stuck from the buses when. And the heat and the all and the buses all and they stuck from the buses when. Canesthesia Countess.
Everybody back! Everybody out with the green. We'll cover you and find a building that's unoccupied.
Maura,
Yeah?
it didn't happen like this before.
Did it not?
No.
Oh, why didn't you say so before?
You're just moving on a bit too much at the start. See, the Countess spent the first day doing her round the green, tatting any sniper she found particularly objectionable, that was in her own words. And there was a Dr. de Burgh Daly, Chief Medical Officer of the RANC. And he was standing in the window,
of the United Services Club would fall.
But Mr. Bell, when you look out, there's a woman on the green pointing a gun at us.
The window is slightly open, and a bullet cracked. That's right between teeth that to be looking at this as if it's some kind of sport. And the retreat to the College of Surgeons was led by Madeleine French Mullen, head of the Red Cross and the Commissariat. And it was Constance Markets who rushed the front door of the College of Surgeons and forced the porters back at gunpoint and secured the college on the Monday. The garrison retreated there on the Tuesday. All right, we need somebody to take a message back to the GPO to say that we retreated to the College of Surgeons. I'll go. Oh, you'd pass for a boy in a bike, Miss Skinner. As I rode along on my bicycle, I'd my first taste of street fighting. Soldiers on top of the hotel shelter aimed their machine guns directly at me. Bullets hit off the wooden rim of a bicycle wheel, puncturing it. Others hit the metal rim or among the spokes. I knew one might hit me at any moment. I rode as fast as I could. My speed saved my life. I was soon out of range, around a corner, and on my way to the GPO. How's it going there, Winnie?
Who goes there?
Margaret Skinner from the College of Surgeons.
The College of Surgeons?
Under Commander Mallon and Countess Margaret's.
Well, you'll have a message to bring back with orders and the state of the rising. Sniper fire on Sackville Street not abated all day. Shocking casualties at City Hall, recaptured by British military.
You think that's bad? We came under heavy fire from the middle of the night, so we did.
Under fierce fire from Jacob's factory at Dublin Castle, British infantry pulling out of the South Dublin Union.
Nearly every window manned by the British military. Oh. Commandant Pierce.
Try to work your way up Harcourt Street, setting fire to some of the buildings along the way, to cut off the retreat of the British force, which planted a machine gun on the flat roof of the University Church.
Right you are, Commandant. Mr. Pierce. I mean, Commandant Pierce. I don't know. So this I've lived and waited for. Who are you? You're Elizabeth O'Farrell. Have we many injured?
A few, some serious, but most of the casualties so far have been on the British side.
For the moment, some policemen, some lancers, at the South Dublin Unions and British casualties. Around here, just sniper fire. We have to keep our heads down. Not much action at Jacob's factory on Owensville. The British are sending in reinforcements.
We'll have a lot to do in a few days. How long do you think we can hold out?
A few days.
And what then? Surely not a fight to the death.
Why, Miss O'Farrell, are you afraid to die?
I'm not afraid to die, but no more of this never happened at all.
No, I know, but I just have to set the scene and create a mood. God, I love Pierce. I know we like things more factual, but
It's Monday night. Helena Maloney has been taken prisoner and is being taken to Ship Street Barracks.
let me go!
Oh, you rebel, filthy rebel twat. You paid for the death of that poor policeman you gunned down in cold blood.
That was not meant to happen. This place is filthy.
Shut up in there!
When we walked out on the Monday night, I felt like I was walking out with Ireland into the sun. And I hate being locked up after all I've done. I've been involved with James Connolly and the Workers' Republic. And I've been staying with the Countess at her Surrey house all before the time of the rising. And there were 8 girls in the workroom above Liberty Hall. Ginny Shannon was there. Rosie Hackett, she travelled for rations. And I did accounts and stuff like that.
I did travel for rations, but I did a lot more than that. I became involved before. I was a trade unionist and a printer by trade. And I became involved before when I was organising strikes at Jacob's factory to support the town workers for the Great Strike. And it was because of that great strike that I first became involved in Liberty Hall.
The workers' flag is deepest red. It's shrouded oft our martyred dead. Edeline's roots stiff with cold. Their heart what died its every fold. So raise the scarlet standard high. Within its shade we'll live or die. Though cowards flinch and traitors sneer, we'll keep the red flag flying there.
Dorothy, we'll come to Rosie and all that in a while. But for now, I had my own Irish tweed costume. I had a Sam-Ram belt, my own revolver and ammunition. And there were 9 girls in the party that went to City Hall with Sean Connolly. Now, Sean Connolly was an old friend of mine and had acted in the Abbey Theatre with me. So off we went, 9 girls behind the men.
Oh, there we go, behind the men again.
Now, there were the 2 Norborough girls, I remember. There was Bridget Davis and Ginny Shanahan. And when we got to the gates, they closed in front of us. And that's where the police sergeant had out his arm. And Sean Connolly shot him dead. But then the gates did close. And Sean turned around and told us to get into City Hall. And that's where we set a kitchen and a hospital ready. And then I was sent to the GPO. And on the way, I met Mr. Sheedy Skeffington on Dave Street. And he was trying to mobilise a police force to stop the looting. And he looked really distressed. And when I got to the GPO, I gave my request for reinforcements. And James Connolly himself said,
I'll send them as soon as I can.
I saw many people there. Winnie on her typewriter. And when I got back to City Hall, that's when Sean Connolly was hit in the roof by a stray bullet. He was bleeding very much from his stomach. Ginny said an act of contrition into his ear.
younger brother, Matt, who was also on the roof. He was only 15. And he cried bitterly seeing his brother die. Towards evening, we saw a large company coming into the castle, and at about 8:30 or 9, when nightfall came, there was a sudden bombardment. It came suddenly down upon us. The firing was intense.
Surrender in the name of the king!
I felt him tugging me arm, and our youngest girl, Annie Norgrove, said to me, "Oh, Miss Melody, we're not to surrender. Mr. Collins says we're not to give in." She was terrified, but there was no surrender in her.
Surrender in the name of the king!
And they produced lights. And we were all taken. And they were surprised that there were women soldiers. That the women of the Citizens' Army were not first aiders, but did military work. They thought the girls had been taken prisoner by the rebels, and they asked,
Were they kind to them? Did they do anything to you?
"No!" Jimmy said, "No, they didn't."
How many of them are there?
Hundreds, which was a lie. Hundreds of them with big guns. Don't! This place is
Good enough for vermin like you.
But it was frustrating being locked up. And to know that the rebellion was taking place outside, we could hear it. The shooting, the big guns. And then on the Tuesday, and as the days went on, oh, come tell me, Sean O'Farrell, tell me why you hurry so. Hush, hush, and listen, his cheeks were all aglow. I bear orders from the captain, get you ready quick and soon, for the pikes must be together at the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. The pikes must be together at the rising of the moon, all along the singing river that like mass of men was seen. High above their shining weapons blew their own lurid green. Death to every foe and traitor, whistle out your marching tune. And hurrah me, boys, for freedom, 'tis the rising of the moon. 'Tis the rising of the moon, 'tis the rising of the moon. And hurrah me, boys, for freedom, 'tis the rising of the moon. Right, that was Helena Maloney and the Citizens' Army Brigade at City Hall. Now, let's get back to the College of Surgeons. It's Wednesday. Rosie Hackett is tending to the wounded.
I've been at Liberty Hall, helping with the printing of the proclamation, because I was a printer by trade. I gave James Connolly a copy with the ink still wet in it. Dr. Lynn had been giving us girls classes in first aid 6 months leading up to Easter, and on the Sunday we did a route march, and the bugle sounded in the places that after we knew were the places to be taken. On the Monday, Dr. Lynn assigned me to Madeline Page Woolham, and that's how I ended up in the College of Surgeons after having been in the Green, where it was very exciting. But on the Monday, we came under heavy fire, and we had to go to the park. We went to the lodge, and the lodge keeper helped us. The crowd wanted to attack us, and a woman called Sissy, she pulled a gun. And that's how we got through to the College of Surgeons. And I was wounded to look after, and there was prisoners. I wanted to go out, but Matt wouldn't let me, because it was getting fierce dangers out there. There was all sorts of reports coming in from all over the city, from dispatchers like Margaret Skinner and the others.
By now, the British response is well underway. Wednesday, 8 a.m., the shouting of Liberty Hall
carried out by the Helga, the British Fisheries Protection Vessel. Artillery fire from Delir Street hit Sackville Street, and fires raged. Skirmishes at Stephen's Green as an outfit is sent from the Shelburne Hotel to try and clear the College of Surgeons. We got a dispatch and we pushed them back. Headquarters wants us to work our way up Harcourt Street to cut off the retreat of a British force which planted a machine gun on the flat roof of the University Church. We are to set fire to the buildings if we can.
I'll go.
I can't let a woman take that kind of risk.
And why not, Commander Mullen? Don't we women have the same rights to risk our lives as the men? And don't we have the same rights under the Constitution of the Irish Republic as men?
I suppose.
And isn't it the case? For the first time in the history, a constitution has been written that allows of equal suffrage.
I suppose.
And I'm sure the Countess would agree.
She would. I suppose.
We set off. I was in the head of a small party alongside William Partridge. It took us only a few moments to arrive at the building we were to set on fire. Councillor Partridge smashed the glass door of the shop that occupied the ground floor. He did it with the butt of his rifle. A flash followed. It had been discharged. I rushed past him through the door, shouting to him, "Williams, come on!" Behind me came the sound of a volley. And I fell. It was as I had on the instant divined. The flash had revealed us to the enemy. "It's all over," I said to myself. But a moment later, when I realised I was not dead, I was sure I should go through. They laid me on a large table and cut away the cloth of my fine new uniform. Oh, I cried over that. They had to prove, they found that I'd been shot in 3 places. My right side under my arm, my right arm, and my... They had to probe several places to get bullets out, and all the while, Madam held my hand, the Countess.
You are being very brave, and I know it must hurt a lot, but you'll pull through. Your wounds are not serious, and sure well better to be than in the College of Surgeons if you're going to be injured.
The probing didn't hurt as much as... Oh, let go! You didn't fake and jump or what?
Now, I must leave you. I have a special delivery for the Shelburne Hotel, and there are new guests there.
My disappointment at not being able to bomb the Hotel Shelburne. That's what made me unhappy. I was relieved I wasn't going to die, but it was a dreadful thought that I would be of no more use and would be a burden to the garrison.
You are avenged, my dear. I went out to where Fred Ryan lay, and Partridge, in order to attract the attention of British soldiers across the way in the Sinn Féin Bank, bent over the dead boy to lift him. There were just 2 soldiers. They both fired. Gave me a chance to sight them. I fired twice. Killed them.
I'm glad.
Now, Molly Reynolds. Right, Molly Reynolds. I got my mobilisation orders on Easter Sunday, but then the paper said it had been cancelled. Now, my instructions were to parade at Stephen's Green, and when I got to the Green, Margaret Skilliger came along and said,
There are no women at the GPO, and I've been sent to look for a volunteer. Hold on a second. That never happened.
you know, it's just hard to get the facts straight. It's just people don't remember everything, people don't know everything.
Right, Laura, back to Molly Reynolds.
I went out with another member of the Common and we went to the GPO, and they O'Reilly welcomed us. And we went in and we helped set up the forced aid casualty station. The top part of the GPO is on fire, but the men have it under control as long as the British don't put off the water. Now, there is a laneway running from Princess Street to Middle Abbey Street. It's Thursday. James Connolly leaves the post office to visit some outposts on Middle Abbey Street using this laneway to reach them.
Somebody bring a stretcher! Get a stretcher!
They brought Mr. Connolly in, and he'd taken a bullet to his left leg, which was shattered between 1.5 to 2 inches of the shin bone, stretcher.
Ah, not you, which I let the men do it.
We handed the stretcher to the men, and Mr. Connolly was brought in, and we set to treating his leg. We dressed it, we set it in splints, and the waste paper basket was cut in two in order to make a cage for it. And then a bed was got, and Mr. Connolly was laid in it, but he didn't want to stay in the 4-state casualty station we'd set up, so his bed was brought to the main hall where the headquarters were.
I'm still fainting fit. The workers' flag is deepest red. It shall root it off for not of dead.
The Helga is shelling the GPO from the Libby! That Thursday night, it's beyond description. The roof of the GPO is collapsing and it's on fire. So, Commandant Pierce orders the coming them on out of the GPO. I'm not going. I'm not going.
I'm not going. I'm not going. It's for your own safety.
Can't send us away now. What about the wounded? We've taken our chances up to now.
Miss O'Farrell, I cannot allow it.
Then throw us out in the Sackle Street if you have to. And there's lots more wants to stay. Winnie Carney wants to stay, Peggy Denny wants to stay, Molly Reynolds wants to stay.
I suppose I have no right to prevent anybody taking part in the rebellion that wants to stay. The GPO is going to be evacuated completely sometime today, and the wounded are to be moved first, and some of the women and the nurses are to go with them. The flames are going to overtake the GPO, the flames coming from the front of the building.
Good evening.
I've been ordered.
Will you take a message out for us?
Of course.
Who am I giving it to?
Louise Gavin Duffy. And that's what I did. I took down the names and addresses of the men. And the messages I got weren't exactly goodbyes, but that they were all right. They were leaving now. They had been in the post office all week, and not to worry about them. And when I got their names and addresses, the houses that I went to, the women couldn't believe that their men were involved. I took the messages after bringing the wounded to Jervis Street Hospital. We left the GPO because of the flames, even though I thought we'd stay in the building until we died. It seems like so long ago that I was walking down Northumberland Road because I'd heard a rumor of the rising, and I'd seen a wounded man being taken away. I walked along Westland Road, down Great Brunswick Street, along Delia Street, and as far as the GPO, and I saw nothing unusual. I knew Mr. Pierce, and I was taken straight to him, and he was calm and courteous then as ever. And I said to Mr. Pierce that I wanted to be in the field, but that I thought the rebellion was a frightful mistake, couldn't possibly succeed, and was therefore wrong, so I didn't want to be in the fighting. So I went to the kitchen to help feed the men.
Then I had to take the wounded out. Someone with a Red Cross flag was at the top of the procession. And they went through the variety hall, into Prince Street, out to Abbey Street, where we were met by a detachment of British soldiers who stopped us and accompanied us to the hospital. Sackville Street is in flames from one end to the other. The roof of the GPO is collapsing, and it is only a matter of time before it will be completely evacuated. I had to type his dispatches, so I stayed by Mr. Connolly's side the whole time. He may have been injured. He may have been on a stretcher, but he was still clear of mind and able to receive instruction and deliver orders. He was sure from a very early stage that a surrender was inevitable.
Inevitable, Winnie. We've held out 2 weeks again the Empire. Who'd have believed it?
He was taken out of the GPO and into Morley.
It was me, Elizabeth O'Farrell, Winnie Carney and Julia Brennan, who were the last in the GPO along with Pierce. I got my training as a nurse from Dr. Lynn before the rising. I joined the Coming Among because I believed in the rising, so it was with a heavy heart that I took the dispatch of the postponement after the arrival after. I went straight back to the GPO and helped out with the first aid, but I also cleaned guns. And I went with Julia Brennan to the College of Surgeons to deliver ammunition supplies. And did what I could in the GPO until we had to leave. It was chaotic. And there was shooting from the British from every angle, and I fell. And the man came out of O'Gorman's shop and pulled me in. And there was the military council. And James Connolly was already there in a stretcher. He was in a bad way, but he was still involved in all the decisions that were being taken, the evacuation, the decision to surrender. No one wanted to. No one gets involved in a rebellion. To lose, to surrender, to die, to go to jail.
All night, the military council discussed and debated a surrender. And after much heartache, tears, shouting, arguments even, a surrender was decided upon to save the lives of more Irish citizens. Commandant Sean McDermott ordered a white flag be hung outside, to be a decision made by the military council, and the other garrisons would be ignorant of it for the moment. All along that singing river, that black mass of men was seen. High above their shining helmets blue, their own beloved green. Death to every foe and traitor, whistle out your marching tune. And hurrah me, boys of freedom, 'tis the rising of the rising of the moon, 'tis the rising. And hurrah me goes. Surrender. Someone has to go out with a white flag.
I'll go.
And as she went out, Elizabeth O'Farrell, Red Cross emblem in her arm, white flag in hand, waving in the air above her head. The men and women in the final garrison in Moore Street held their breaths, hoping against all hope that no trigger-happy British soldier behind the barricades at Henry Street or Great Britain Street would cut her down. It's Saturday, 12:45 p.m. The firing ceased, and as she made her way slowly, she noticed some dead bodies on the ground. One of an old man.
I've met him earlier. Cowering and calling up a room with a young girl and child. And he wanted to go out and rescue his family under a flag of truce. And I had appealed to his daughter not to allow him to do it. But clearly,
She went up to the officer in charge of the Great Britain Street barricade, guns trained on her from anxious faces. What is it you want?
I have come with a message of surrender from Commandant Pearce, who wishes to treat with the Commandant of the British forces.
Surrender from whom?
The leaders of a rising.
How many of you are there? How many women?
2 more.
Take my advice, go back there and get the other 2 girls out. Hold on. I'm going to have to report this. And she was brought down Great Britain Street, as far as the Carnell statue, and into a house where an officer came to meet her.
The Commandant of the Irish Republican Army wishes to treat with the Commandant of the British forces in Ireland.
The Irish Republican Army? The Sinn Féiners, you mean?
The Irish Republican Army, they call themselves, and a very good name it is too.
Take that Red Cross off her and search her. She is a spy.
And they cut the Red Cross off my arm and they searched me.
I had 2 pairs of scissors, some bread and cake, not dangerous at all.
And they took me of all places to Tom Clark's shop. And time was passing, 3/4 of an hour.
And after another 3/4 of an hour, Brigadier General Lowe came to meet her.
And I repeated my message.
You can go back to Mr. Pearce.
Commandant Pearce.
You may go back to Mr. Pearce and say that General Lowe will not treat with him at all until he surrenders unconditionally.
And General Law and another officer brought me another car to Great Britain Street. And they gave me a note.
Unconditional surrender.
It was then 25 minutes past 2.
And she made her way back to Moore Street.
And as I passed up the lane, I saw the body of the O'Rahilly lying 4 yards up the lane, his feet on the steps of the forced door to the right side entrance to Ken's shop. And his head in a corpse stone.
She had to be back in half an hour. There was nothing she could do. He was already dead.
I got back, gave him the message and told him what had happened.
The provisional government held a short council.
Commandant Pearce decided to accompany me back to General Lowe.
It was 3:30 p.m. when General Lowe received Commandant Pearce at the top of Moore Street. Can you identify this man? Is he Mr. Pearce? Was he in the General Post Office?
Commandant Pearce insisted he was the commander of the GPO.
The other commandants must surrender. I believe you have a Countess de Markovich down there.
No, she's not with me, he replied.
She is in the area somewhere. We will detain this woman.
Elizabeth O'Farrell is my name.
We will detain this woman so she can take the order for surrender to the other commandants.
Will you do this? Commandant Pearce asked me. Yes, if you wish.
I do wish it.
He then shook my hand. He was taken away and I saw him no more.
And she would take the order for surrender that was signed by Pearce and then by Connolly. And she would first take it to the rest of the men in Moore Street before going on to Ned Daly in the Four Courts.
I was taken to a house at the corner of Church Street.
It wasn't until the next morning she was brought up Grafton Street in a motor car by Captain Wheeler.
I went to the College of Surgeons to meet with Commandant Madden, but as he was sleeping, I gave the order to Countess Martins.
Surrender?
Works, then on to Ringsend Road Bridge, onto Barrow Street, and then over the railway bridge.
It's Elizabeth O'Farrell! Some of the men knew her, and they told her where to find De Valera, and she was lifted into a house.
I gave him the note and told him the news.
Is this a hoax? I will not accept any order except my immediate superior officer, Commandant MacDonough.
Then on to Boland's Mill, but I was blindfolded before I was taken to him.
I will not accept this note!
He would only deal with General Lowe, and Commandant Pierce was a prisoner, as he couldn't take orders from a prisoner. But it was over. It was over.
As down the glen one Easter morn to a city fair lie, the armored lines of marching men in squadrons passed me by. No fife did hum, no battle drum did sound its dread tattoo, but the Angelus bell o'er the Liffey swell rang loud for the body Jew. As down the glen I rode again, my heart with grief was sore, for I parted then with valiant men, whom I never shall see more. But to and fro in my dreams I go, and I'll kneel and pray for you. Oh, slavery fled, oh, glorious day, when you fell in the foggy
Am I a prisoner?
Very much so. But you won't be lonely. You'll have your friends, Dr. Lynn and Miss Maloney and all the others to keep.
It was a relief to hear their names, who was to know who was dead or injured in the events. But more, we still have so much work to do. There are so many contradictions, and we have to get everything right, and we'll never get the story correct. But we're getting there.
We are. It's just so many contradictions and gaps.
No women were executed by the British, though it did seem for a time that Countess Margaret would meet that fate.
Many were killed, injured, or imprisoned.
Margaret Skinner survived her injuries but managed to escape from hospital while awaiting medical treatment.
The rising was just the beginning of the story for many, for they would continue to play a part in the formation of the nation.
But we're getting there.
Hold on. Elizabeth O'Farrell became a midwife. So you could say that she, as well as all the others who took part in the rising, were the midwives of our nation.
I love that. The midwives of our nation.